met the junior Crossman at nearby Wells Village High School, finding him with blood-like stains on his clothes. Crossman Jr. told police that he went for a late-night walk and came back to find his slain family members all dead. He also claimed that his clothes were covered in blood because he'd attempted to drag his father's corpse outside the home and load him into a utility vehicle to take him to his grandmother's house across the road. Now, this village, Paulette, it's right on the state line with New York, so the Vermont State Police were able to call the Granville, New York Police Department and troopers from the New York State Police. Now, the New York State Police stayed with Crossman Jr. while the Vermont Police went to the Crossman residence to investigate. When they got to the location, it turned out that the home was actually more like a compound, though they called it a farm. The police discovered a dead man at the front door and a semi-automatic pistol on the floor inside the doorway. Crossman Sr.'s body had gunshot wounds to the head and torso. Erica Crossman was found naked inside the home with a gunshot wound to the head, and Taft had died of multiple gunshot wounds. Investigators said that they had found a set of clothes matching Brian Crossman Jr.'s size on the floor of the bedroom where Erica Crossman's body had been discovered. The clothes had stains consistent with blood on it. Crossman Jr.'s explanation for this was that he had changed his clothes before trying to drag his father's body out of the house. By the end of the day, Brian Crossman Jr. had been admitted to a mental health unit at Glen Falls Hospital, which is in New York State. He wasn't arrested until 4 days later, after Vermont State Police obtained an arrest warrant for him. He's since been arraigned and pleaded not guilty. Brian Crossman Jr. didn't live with his father. According to his grandmother, he lives in Granville, New York, and was only staying at the house for the weekend. According to a friend, Erica was scared of Crossman Jr. and didn't want to be alone with him. The friend recommended that Erica lock up any guns that might be around the house. As it turns out, Brian Crossman Sr. was an avid hunter and liked guns and kept them around for a variety of reasons, I suppose. Now, the reason that I chose this story in particular to be the subject of today's crime report is that there's something of a pattern that I noticed. Brian Crossman Sr. was a politician serving a one-year term as the town of Paulette's liaison to buildings and development and liaison to the town highway department. There's a mouthful. And he's not even the only small-town politician to have been murdered that week. Because only a few days later in Kentucky, you had that sheriff, Sean Mickey Steins, who killed Judge Kevin Mullins in his own chambers. And that incident happened in Lecter County, which has a population of about 20,000 people. And the location of today's crime report took place in Paulette, Vermont, which has a population of only 1,395 people. So once again, these big crimes happen in these small towns, and of course everyone out there in both these places will be screeching that this kind of thing doesn't happen here, except it always happens there. You take the most privileged people in the society, shield them from all criticism or correction, give them guns, and then people act completely shocked that this keeps happening. And predictably, the white media doesn't even attempt to connect any dots or acknowledge that there's any dots that need to be connected. So this Brian Crossman Jr. character murdered 3 people in a town of about 1,400 folks. 3 people. That's the same number of people who were killed in the entire city of Chicago that same weekend. This is something of an important detail, I think. More people were killed in one day in Paulette, Vermont, than died in the entire city of Chicago that entire weekend. Now, where's the white media outlets at to tell everyone how Chicago is the deadliest city in America? But when we do an apples-to-apples comparison, we see that per capita, one of the white supremacists' favorite phrases, these small towns are far deadlier than the big cities. Their concern for public safety disappears the instant they don't have